Hello and welcome. My name is Meepolis, they, he, she, and today we are looking at and talking about Hulk Grand Design Treasury Edition by Jim Rugg, a 120-page oversized paperback published by Marvel in February 2023. This collection is rated T and includes all those things we have come to expect from superhero comics, but I'll make content notes for guns, experimentation on humans, character death, blood, and struggles with emotional control. Clicking over to his portfolio website, Jim Rugg describes himself as, quote, a comic book artist, bookmaker, illustrator, and designer. Books include Street Angel, The Plain Janes, Aphrodisiac, Notebook Drawings, Rambo 3.5, and Super Mag. I love comic books, zines, lettering, podcasts, running, pro wrestling, pizza, and cats. I live and draw in Pittsburgh. I teach visual storytelling at the School of Visual Arts and Animation Workshop in Denmark. Accolades include Eisner and Ignat Awards, AIGA 50/50, Society of Illustrators Annual, and Investing in Professional Artists, the Pittsburgh Region Arts Grant Program, a partnership of the Heinz Endowment and the Pittsburgh Foundation. End quote. Keywords that came to mind reading this comic: muscles, feelings, science, fights, death, and exile. The summary is, quote, the acclaimed Grand Design franchise continues with the monster and the madness. Writer/artist Jim Rugg follows in the tradition of Ed Piskor and Tom Scioli by unfurling the full saga of the Incredible Hulk, from the very beginning to the present day. From Bruce Banner's volatile upbringing to the fateful gamma bomb detonation that changed everything, to years of anger, smashing, and just wanting to be left alone. He's been a hero, a hate figure, even a world breaker. Now witness the biggest moments in Hulk's history through the eyes of a single visionary storyteller. You'll never look at Bruce Banner the same way again. End quote. Looking at the art, it is definitely a big part of why I picked this book up. I really love the retro style with lots of expressive type, carefully chosen shifts in color to reflect the emotions of the scene, and creative oversized page layouts. Writing-wise, obviously this trade is very tightly focused on one particular goal, namely trying to condense down all of Hulk's history into 120 oversized pages. So that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and it's going to be covering a lot of ground. To this end, I think that Hulk Grand Design was very successful. Rugg, I think, does a good job of both articulating what kinds of things show up over and over and over again in Hulk stories, while also pulling out what is unique about each go-round. That said, as someone who is using this book to catch up on a character I've known almost zero about, I can't comment on what, if anything, might have been left out. That said, I did feel inspired to check out the Hulk's Wikipedia page. Touching on some of the cited reasons for the creation of the Hulk, Stan Lee credited the popularity of the Fantastic Four's The Thing, Frankenstein's monster. Quote, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Frankenstein monster. No one could ever convince me that he was the bad guy. End quote. To which I can only say same, Stan. Same, as well as golems of Jewish mythology. Apparently, Lee, quote, chose gray for the Hulk because he wanted a color that did not suggest any particular ethnic group. Colorist Stan Goldberg, however, had problems with the gray coloring, resulting in different shades of gray and even green in the issue. End quote. Jack Kirby, who penciled and co-plotted The Incredible Hulk #1, cited, quote, witnessing in person the hysterical strength of a mother lifting a car off her trapped child, end quote, as inspiration for drawing the character. Obviously also a product of the Cold War and the Atomic Age, like so many other superheroes, I was a bit surprised by how closely intertwined Hulk was with weapons development, and not just perhaps falsely depoliticized generic scientific exploration/accidents. Looking at the different intersections of representation that I highlight in each review, much like many other biographical comics, the focus of Hulk Grand Design is pretty tight. Gender is very one note, with girlfriends and a brief appearance of She-Hulk's origin, the only not men presented. The presence of girlfriends does mean that sexuality comes up fairly often, but again, felt very one note. Race and class were even more one note / unexamined. As with almost all superhero comics, even if it wasn't their intent, ability and disability do end up being examined, although again, as usual, this is often shifted over slightly to contrast the normally able-bodied and the super able-bodied. The dichotomy of mind versus body versus emotions versus masculinity, ever present in the Hulk, does provide an interesting platform to comment. And perhaps I might even get a bit deeper into the Hulkness of it all now. It often boils down to too many comics and too little time. Sigh. Wrapping things up, I do not mean to diss this volume at all, but do think I will rate it as good, aka 3 stars. Bye y'all, keep reading and organized to end capitalist depression. And as always, Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.